Alcina, the girl, she's brave, but she's only young, so I have to do something, and you have to help. Okay, said Charlie. He didn't even ask what help was needed or what the lion wanted him to do. He just said okay. This could have been very foolish of him. There are a great many stories about what happens when people promise to do something before checking what it is they're promising. And it always turns out to be kill your friend or give me your kingdom, and then it's too late to turn back. But Charlie trusted the lion. He remembered the look in the lion's eye when he first spoke cat to him. He trusted the lion, and he liked him. If he could, he would help him. We need a plan to escape, said the young lion. We need a human who can help us get off the ship. We need to trick Makamo and Major Tibat. We need help to hide us on our journey. We're going back to Africa. Africa, said Charlie. Wow. Are you African? Asked the lion. Yes, my dad is, from West Africa, by the sea. We are West African too, said the lion, from Morocco, where the desert and the mountains come to the sea. That's where we're going. Dad's from further south, said Charlie, from Guyana. We're brothers, said the lion, African brothers. You speak our language. We don't have to come all the way on our journey home. We'll see where your people are being taken. We'll find a route that works for both of us. We'll help you too. Charlie liked the sound of that. He liked it very much. It had crossed his mind the question of how a single boy could rescue grown-ups from other grown-ups, from whoever it was Raffi had hired, or whoever had hired Raffi. He hadn't wanted to think of it, but he wasn't stupid. If the kidnappers had been easy to beat, his parents would have beaten them and escaped already, wouldn't they? For a moment his heart leapt. Perhaps they had. Perhaps they were on their way to rescue him right now. But a single boy with a group of lions could surely scare off kidnappers, however tough they were. A single boy with a group of lions could give Raffi Sadler the shock of his life. In exchange for helping the lions to escape, Charlie would get them to help his parents escape. Simple and brilliant. Charlie had an idea. Would you do something for me now? He said to the young lion. The lion inclined his head to suggest yes, of course. Charlie smiled himself as he fished his phone out of his pocket. He looked up Fancy, Slime and Git in the address book and dialed the number. When I tell you, roar, he said to the young lion. It's the guy who stole my parents. The young lion's eyes gleamed. Charlie assumed he would get the message service. He didn't. He got Raffi. For a moment he was shocked into silence. Raffi on the street, at the fountain, with his mum, with Charlie's mum maybe. Then as Raffi said, yeah, Charlie boy, he launched into action. Yeah, you know who I am, he shouted. You don't know where I am though, do you? You don't know what I'm doing. You know nothing, and I couldn't be less scared of you. If anything, I'll be coming to you, get you, soon. Mr. Swanky, fancy yourself, I'm so cool, Git. So you'd better watch out, and you'd better leave me alone. He made a frantic face at the young lion and held the phone out to him. The young lion, grinning, uttered a low, threatening, echoing, blood-curdling roar. Charlie knew it was a roar of laughing and being naughty. He knew too that Raffi would hear it as any normal human would. Absolutely terrifying. He swiftly pressed the disconnect button and collapsed in laughter. Yes! 5 sailors banged on the door of the lion cabin. What's going on? They shouted. Are you okay in there? Charlie opened the door, still giggling. It's fine, he said. Fine, no trouble. Sorry, lion's a bit boisterous, that's all. Sorry. They went away. Charlie felt good. Raffi did not. You flaming cheeky little grass pole, he said. What was that? He was scared by it. He didn't understand. You little, he yelled and picked up his phone. Charlie's phone rang. He stared at it, sitting in his hand. Fancy, Slime and Git lit up the face. The young lion stared at it. Charlie said, roar again, and pressed the button. The young lion really let rip. The sailors came back. The phone didn't ring again after that. Charlie felt good. Raffi dropped the phone. I don't understand, he whispered. He was shaking now. Fear and anger made a bad cocktail. So how about the others? Charlie said, growing serious again. Do they agree? The young lion flicked his whiskers. Alcina will agree. She is ready and patient for the day. The mothers will do what the oldest lion does, and the oldest lion, he will agree if his spirit is not too low. So how can we make a spirit high? Asked Charlie, going straight to the point. The young lion gave a kind of lionish smile, lifting his whiskers and showing his delicate, ferocious teeth. The spirit of an old lion is not for bossing, he said, but there are ways, and there is something that must be done first of all, and we must start to do it now. Then he drew Charlie closer, still to the bars, and whispered in his ear, And Charlie nodded, taking it all in, and together they worked out how Charlie would start the process of raising the oldest lion spirit and saving the lions from captivity. After that, Charlie went back to his rope shaft and thought about his parents and Raffi and planned ways of righting what was wrong. Ahead of them, approaching, the Marmalade cat on board the Shark Hall had managed to pinch a biro from Winner's jacket pocket and was attempting to push it under the door of the cabin in which Aniba and Magdalen were incarcerated. The paper had been easy. He had ripped it from Winner's ship's logbook with one vicious swipe of his claws and carried it in his teeth. The biro was a little harder. It was difficult to get a grip on and kept rolling away when he dropped it, but now it didn't want to fit under the door. The cat thought. The cat had an idea. The cat took the biro in his mouth and crunched down on it with his sharp, strong little teeth. The plastic casing split and shattered, and the little central tube full of ink fell away. Quickly with his paw, like a kitten batting a ball of wool, the cat battered the biro's inner tube under the door. Then he set up a horrible yowling and meowing, aimed through the same crack. It was Magdalen who liked the cat, who woke and stretched and said, "Oh, shut up, puss." And when he didn't, it was Magdalen who said, "I can't let you in, sweets. The door is locked." As you may have noticed, it was Magdalen who came to the door to speak kindly to the distraught-seeming cat, and it was Magdalen who trod on the biro, noticed the piece of paper, picked them both up, and set to wondering. The next morning, when Sid brought in the prisoners, breakfast, and the cat swerved and swiftly between his legs, it was Magdalen whom the cat started bothering, pushing the biro towards her, rolling on the paper in a meaningful fashion, saying, "Meow, meow, meow," over and over again, and it must be said, rather irritably. At least that's what Magdalen heard. Actually, the cat was saying, "Write the letter, write the letter. Oh, for God's sake, woman, get a move on. How hard is it to work out? Pen, paper, write the letter." And Magdalen murmured, "This cat's trying to tell me something." Which made her think of Charlie. Not that she ever wasn't thinking about him, but it made her think about cats telling him things and him telling cat things, and she looked at the Marmalade's cat's face, staring at her so intently as if willing her to understand. And she understood. Sitting with her back to the two-way mirror, she wrote, "Dear Charles." How proud she had been of his telephone message, how cleverly he had picked up the clues she had left in her first letter, how cleverly he had left his own clues. "I'm sorry to hear you are out sailing all the time instead of being in class. You know too much sea air is bad for you. Daddy and I are enjoying our boat trip, though it's still a bit of a mystery tour. The food is good and there's a lovely Marmalade cat who is very friendly. I hope this gets through to you. We'll let you know where we're staying when we get there. Please also tell me which field trips Brother Jerome is planning for you. Love you so much and miss you. Be a good little boy. I know you will. Your ever-loving Mummy." Aniba was looking over her shoulder. "That's good," he said, "but how are you going to get it to him?" The Marmalade cat leapt onto her lap and stretched out his furry orange neck with its little purple flea collar. Magdalen folded the scrap of paper small and tucked it firmly into the buckle held in place by the pin. "Seems secure, I think," she said. Aniba was looking at her. "Sweetheart," he said, a note of doubt in his voice, but at the moment the door opened with Winner come to take their breakfast away, and the cat, pausing only to give them a tiny but definite wink, zapped out of it. "What?" said Aniba. "What? Really?" "He brought me the paper and biro," said Magdalen. "If he can be the stationery shop, why shouldn't he be the postman too?" Aniba smiled. Magdalen smiled. He gave her a big kiss. For the first time in days, they felt almost a little bit happy. "Don't know what you're looking so flaming chirpy about," said Winner. "You're soon going to be reaching your destination. Not much for you to laugh about, I wouldn't have thought. All right for me, man. We'll just be handing you over and getting our dosh, and then I have a plan for a week or two in the sun with Mrs. Winner. But you'll be meeting the gentlemen from personnel, and they're not very nice gentlemen, frankly, and then, if I'm not mistaken, you'll be hauled up to meet the chief executive." "Oh dear," he said exaggeratedly. "There was me about to let slip about the chief executive. Oops, there I go again. When he'll be so keen to explain your new duties to you himself. He's a very particular man, from what I hear, when it comes to personnel. A very particular man. I'm particularly glad that I don't work for him. Sooner you than me any day." Winner went off with a nasty look on his face. "Personnel," said Magdalen. "Duty," said Aniba. "I don't like the sound of that," said Magdalen. Charlie was kicking himself. How stupid to have rung Reffy. How self-indulgent. And twice. Now Reffy knew Charlie got his messages. He might send more. Now Reffy knew that Charlie was in place with lions. Well, that narrowed the field. And now Reffy would be even more annoyed with him. Stupid. It had been fun though. End of chapter 10. Bye for now.